Dean Blundell Show. Mornings on The Edge.
Good morning. You may or may not know a different tone of the program this morning due to nothing to do with this company. It could be one of the greatest. It was voted, I think, the best company to work for in the whole world recently. So, you know, that ought to say something. But no, we have been told there's some things that we can and can't do anymore. So we're very afraid. Essentially, it's our decision. We're very afraid, so we're being very politically correct this morning because we got to figure out what we can and can't do and say because the mark keeps moving, and I'll explain. There's different levels of government, and we need this. Trust me, there's some pretty irresponsible people out there that, you know, broadcast swears and songs, and you wouldn't believe what's out there. Anyway, so there's two governing bodies, and what they do is essentially someone can complain if they hear something they don't like. One person out of 2 million listeners. So, like, one person can say, "Oh, I don't like." In which case, this show comes from May, where we were talking about we got in trouble for yesterday. We just found out that we were in breach of a few. What do you call them?
Well, they're codes.
A few codes.
Yeah.
I'm going to read it, but I'm going to censor it because I don't know what I'm allowed to say and not say anymore. So I'm going to have to censor it as I go.
Yeah.
Even though we said it, did exactly what this governing body, the CBSC, had asked us, someone from the CBSC had asked us to do if we indeed had this kind of humor. We've had many meetings about this, by the way.
Over the years, sure.
So we're well aware of what. So anyway, this one caught us by surprise. And by God, as a company and people that work for this great company, we always try and hold it in the highest of esteem. We definitely do what we can to make sure we're on side when it comes to what we say and how we act and how we conduct our business and what we do. And in this case, a new person in the governing body didn't agree with, and I'll just read it to you.
And when you say CBSC, there is a difference between that and the CRTC.
Yeah, the
which a lot of
CRTC
people,
is
I guess, don't know.
really the super governing body and good people. We know a bunch of them.
Great.
We've met them a bunch of times. And they're just doing their job. So, but so this is the change in climate and how things are in radio and what's changed. And I'll just read this to you. This is from a show in May. We had the following conversation about women in war. This was the conversation.
Can you?
Yeah. Blundell, that's me. And then they do, it's like a play, right?
They wrote it out like a play.
Yeah.
102.1 The Edge, Jimmy, World the Middle. It's 11 degrees. Laughing, it's 11 degrees. Laughter, I was just talking with blank, female. Shapiro says, yeah.
Spelled my name wrong.
Oh, they did. Shapiro.
Just on that one. Yeah.
Shapiro.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, that means it's like a ticket. This doesn't count.
It's not us. Sorry.
Oh, we're off the hook.
Okay, awesome.
Blundell, she works here. She's like, men and women are equal.
Yeah, I don't even know what.
Laughter. Ha, ha, ha. Shapiro. Bleep. Because you said the Lord's name in vain. Blundell, while laughing, bleep and bleep are bleep. Funniest thing I've bleeped all day. I believe in bleep. Woo-hoo, that's so funny. I'm sure you can kind of gather what was said. But listen, and if you know us, you know this is all a joke. We don't believe any of this at all. Wellsman, in a funny voice.
Imagine.
Hey, listen, you bleep. Why don't you go back to the bleep and just bake us some bleeps? Bleep.
God, and that sounds so worse than it is, too. Because when you say bleep on the word you bleep.
Well, I'm sure. I think you can actually Google this and read it for yourself.
Yeah, this eventually gets published. Yeah. I believe they disclose all this stuff.
Keep in mind, this is. I don't fault anybody for having this opinion.
It's a decision they made.
It's their decision, and then we'll ask why and all that other stuff.
Just explaining why we're afraid to
do a regular show. Yeah, because this hasn't been a problem for 10 years. All of a sudden, it is. But you know what? We'll figure it out. They're good people, and they're just doing their job.
We're not mad at anyone. We're just confused.
Blundell, yeah, I'll laugh. Wellsman, in a funny voice. Whose opinion was it that it was funny?
I don't know.
Well,
this is what I don't understand.
That wasn't funny.
How someone can, I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is how someone in this process can assume that it's a funny voice or an angry voice or a demeaning voice. I don't understand that, how their opinion matters.
And the part that strikes me as confusing is that how can they determine the voice is funny, but the bit's not funny?
I don't know, I guess.
That's true.
Yeah, voice is funny, however, this isn't.
And this whole account actually also includes stage direction.
Oh, by the way, I'll read this whole thing unplugged online with no malice. I'm not angry. I'm just confused.
We're explaining.
Yeah. Wellsman, in a funny voice, close your bleep, open your bleep, and do your bleeps. Now, the words Ears, mouth, and chores are in there. I'm just letting you know those are the bleeps. You put them wherever you like. It was clearly a joke. Shapiro.
No, so it's back to Shapiro now.
I don't think this bodes very well for us. Blundell. No female listeners? Question mark. Shapiro. Growing female listeners. Blundell. Growing our female. Wellsman says, they know I'm full of crap.
Yeah.
Dude. Insinuating,
the joke.
Listen, this is clearly a joke. Mm-hmm. We don't believe this. Which someone from the CBSC told us, if you say stuff like that, it really releases you from... But anyway.
That's what we had thought.
So I'm confused now.
Pointing out the joke, even though we don't necessarily want to point out the joke, but we do.
Shapiro, we are not equal because women are, Wellsman says, better? That's what he said.
Yep.
Better? That's what he said.
Women are better. Oh, wait. I think I add to it here.
I think so. Better? Yeah, better. Shapiro says, far superior. Blundell says, absolutely. Then he says, they smell bleep and shave their bleeps. Shapiro says, they bring more love to this world, Dean. Wellsman says, yeah. Shapiro says, men do some awful things to one another. I saw the Pacific and Brokeback Mountain.
That's pretty funny.
Good one.
That's very funny.
Good one.
Laughter in background, says.
In BG.
Blundell says, dude, bleeps do worse things to each other. I'm convinced if we would have just sent bleeps to fight all those wars, honestly, if we would have sent bleeps to fight, twice as many people would have been killed. And quick. Oh, it's already published.
It is published?
Yeah. Yeah, you can go read it. Shapiro, or you wouldn't know if someone was wounded.
Yeah, I think this is where we...
Yeah, we stopped talking about it?
Yeah.
I don't...
I don't know.
Oh, my bleep.
I don't know.
Cheryl's been medic. No, it's okay. She's just bleep. Look, I'm fine. Let's get it together, okay? Win the war. So anyway, I'm reading this to you, and you don't need to know what it is.
Well, I guess if it's published, you could read it now like a news story.
Well, I don't think so.
I don't know either.
It's on the internet.
Yeah.
You can't govern the internet, which is why I'll read this to you live and unplugged online. Essentially, folks, to explain, company's terrific. We're trying to figure out how to work best with this governing body because we're very confused at this point. And I definitely don't want to do anything to put the company in jeopardy at all when it comes to this situation. So if you're wondering about the politically correct nature of the program this morning, that is exactly why. It's almost like, like your best friend's having a hard time with somebody.
Yeah.
And you say, hey, do you want me to intervene? Do you want me to? No, we're just trying to figure out how to best handle the situation.
Yeah, it
and
takes
really,
time.
with all due respect for the governing body, which we do respect very much. And they've helped us a lot. And they've been really good about helping educate. Because we do a job that not many people are asked to do. Not just in this company, in not just in Canada, but in North America. And we pride ourselves in the fact that we can be honest with our listeners. So the fact that we can't do certain things or are afraid to do certain things, that it not only goes a long way to explain, and once again, not mad at all at anybody, so incredibly confused to the point that it'd be much easier to do what we do on a different platform and just not have to deal with that.
We just don't want to say something that offends someone that we know is not offensive.
It isn't. I didn't think. And you know what? I'm trying to learn from this what it was offensive to
That's
whoever it is that
can't
wrote in,
yeah.
and I don't know what it is, but I'm trying to. And you know what? We take it seriously.
We don't want to
As a
stereotype.
company,
we don't want to.
yes.
Yeah. We. I mean, people know that about us. We do want to have fun.
It's getting harder.
But I mean, maybe
It's getting harder when you know it's clearly a joke.
It's clearly a joke.
It's clearly the whole thing was clearly a joke.
Like a little
We
parody.
even said it. This is clearly a joke. We do not believe this. It is a joke.
But listen carefully to songs or maybe other announcers.
This is a good point, folks. You can find anything offensive. And what we would encourage you to do now is if you happen to hear something you find offensive on another radio station, I would encourage you to start emailing, complaining as much as you can.
Just send a little note. It takes one. That's all it takes.
One note could effectively almost ruin lives and careers. One note from someone who may have a difference of opinion or who has no sense of humor. One note.
Maybe
So
it's even just
if
a
you
lyric in a song.
Yeah, maybe there's because I know that I find swear words offensive, and there's plenty of swear words in lots of songs, not just that we play, but other stations. So maybe if you find or an announcer says something you don't like, or you find something offensive in the lyrics
Or
of a song,
stereotypical in a way, or
email. If you go to the CBSC website, what you can do is you can email and you can actually complain like that, like this. Even if you think you heard something and you didn't hear it, you can still complain, and it still affects how people do business. So
and they have to get back to you.
They got to get back to you right away, and we're really good about that.
Yeah,
get back to people right like this. So if you hear something, even if you see it on TV, and please email the CBSC and the CRTC, and make sure, and make sure you hold everybody accountable, because really, that's all we're asking for. Everybody's on the same kind of level playing field, and we'll figure it out. I'll read you the whole thing live at edge.ca. Coming up on the online show, if you want to hear it.
Man, we should have thought of this before to get more people to listen online.
No
Not
kidding.
joking.
The Dean Blundell Show, 102.1, The Edge.